Ready? Welcome back, everyone. Boy, I think it's an understatement, but let's face it, we live in a very complex world. And a lot of times we wonder, how did we get here? How did it get to be so complex? And then, of course, it follows that you want to ask yourself, what do we do to make it right? Well, boy, we've got some valuable information for you today. Joining me is Holly Hammond. Welcome, Holly.
Hi, Jesse.
Very nice to have you here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And the reason Holly's here is that she's a chairperson for MLK Day. Now, Martin Luther King Day is coming up this year. I think it's on Monday the 18th, correct?
Correct.
And before we went on air, Holly was just telling me about the depth of the events that they're planning that weekend leading up to Martin Luther King's birthday, so that holiday. And it just really struck me that not only are these events important events to talk about, but also what they mean is very, very important.
Absolutely.
So I think this started off, you were telling me, that the committee was formed years ago before you were chair.
Yes.
And that it started with just really a few events that they did on that holiday itself on the Monday. And last year, you extended this to cover Friday, the weekend prior, and leading up to it.
Right.
And what was the reason?
We just realized that this is such an important holiday to recognize Dr. King's work. Everything he stood for, representing the disenfranchised and the marginalized, and all of the issues with racism, discrimination continue today. And so we really need to be including people in ongoing dialogue about these difficult issues and not just have it be one day.
Well, you know what? I'm in media myself, and we're so prone to sound bites. We're so prone to headlines. And, you think to yourself, things like mass incarceration, things like just general inequality across the board, that you really are not going to learn the types of information, get the kind of information that you need from headlines.
Right.
That you really do need to say to the public, come join us. Come to this event, learn something. Let's build some awareness for this. So let's do that.
Okay.
Let's start with Friday.
Yeah.
What's going on Friday of that weekend?
So Friday, we want to kick off the weekend with some real positive energy, and we're having an opening reception at 6:30, and then a documentary film called Cracking the Codes, and a facilitated discussion, and then a really wonderful evening of performance, music and spoken word. We're going to have a slam poet. We're going to have the Heavenly Echoes gospel singers from Albany, JV Cutter and the Blues, and some other area musicians, a youth group, Shift, Saratoga's Humanitarian Youth for Transformation. We want young people involved. So it's going to be a really dynamic, exciting evening of performance. So film, discussion, and performance.
Right, and let's face it, just cycling back on kind of what we spoke about starting, what a wonderful way to bring the community together.
Yeah.
And also to say, hey, look, we're going to start this with a celebration. There's going to be a lot of information, a lot of awareness building, but let's face it, let's start with a celebration. As soon as you mentioned the Heavenly Echoes, that catches my imagination, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Now, that's where's that taking place?
The Arts Center, the Saratoga Film Forum is co-sponsoring this event with us, so it'll be at the Arts Center, 320 Broadway in Saratoga Springs.
Now, moving on to Sunday, I found this particularly compelling because you had mentioned that on Sunday there's going to be some poetry readings from people that have been incarcerated about their experiences and whatever, and I've heard some of this, so I know how powerful this can be. Where's Sunday events taking place?
Sunday's event is at the library, Saratoga Springs Library,
Okay.
2 to 4 p.m. And again, it will be poetry reading, a staged reading of a play called Hello, My Name Is, which was co-written with women who have been incarcerated. And then we're going to have some panelists to help facilitate, again, another discussion. We really want people to learn and understand better these issues.
And they're not the issues that a lot of us face every day. And again, if you only hear about it in the news, you don't really know. You can't go in depth on things like this. And a lot of what you're offering the public over the course of this weekend gets to the fiber of who we are. if you think about it, without sounding too heavy, I know what that sounds like, but you know what I mean, right?
Well, Jesse, it is heavy stuff, and I think people feel overwhelmed by it. How can I help? It's just the problems are so massive, and so that's also why we have these events, because we want to give people the opportunity to talk, but also to not just talk about what the problem is, but what's the solution? What can I as an individual and we as a community, what can we do to right some of these wrongs and make this a more equal, just, and safe home for everyone?
Right. No one could do that living in a bubble, by the way, right? It kind of leads me into what you're doing on Monday, the actual holiday itself, which I think is wonderful. It's a real volunteer community kind of get together, right?
The morning. We start the morning with Day of Service, we call it. It's really a morning of service. People come to the library at 9:30 to register, and there are a couple of projects in the community to support charitable organizations like Code Blue, the emergency homeless shelter. People can do a volunteer training there. And then we have some projects on site at the library that are geared toward children and families, being organized by Youth Squared. That's a collaboration of teens and adults. So it's a teen-led organization, and they offer grants to other teenagers who want to do charitable work to make the world better. So we're really excited about that. Can I continue?
Yes, of course.
And then we have a luncheon from 12 to 1. Lots of restaurants have generously donated fabulous food. And that's for all the volunteers and organizers to come together and be rewarded for their wonderful efforts. And then from 1:30, we reconvene at the library for an afternoon again of a meta theater company doing some powerful performances. And Garland Nelson from Soul Session is going to be our MC and sing and shift, and the Arbor Hill Starlights. A step dance team from Albany. So we're going to have a rich program.
You know what? We live in a world where inequality is confusing at best. It's hurtful. There are all kinds of things attached to that. But the one thing that always stuck in my mind about that is that inequality starts with ignorance. It's just that the people are not talking to each other. They're not getting together. The community is not working together. The older members of our community are not teaching the younger ones the values associated with equality. And it just sounds to me that with the events that you're mentioning over Friday, Sunday, and Monday, that what a terrific effort to bring the community together, all ages, to be able to honor Martin Luther King and then also be able to work together as a community.
Right.
Help to start to solve. You can't start till you're ready to begin, right?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around?
To continue the work of this great man who died, was murdered at 39. Which is just, so we owe it to him to continue this work.
Well, I really want to commend you and your committee and everybody that's involved with putting these events together. What a wonderful outreach to the community. So Holly, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're quite welcome. And I want to cycle back so you know, Friday, this is leading up to the 18th, so doing the math
15th.
backwards, this is the 15th. So Friday the 15th at night at 6:30 at the Saratoga Film Forum, which is right up here on Broadway. There's a film, and there's going to be all kinds of great music. Bring the community together to start setting the stage for the weekend. Then on Sunday at the library, what time does that start?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. A whole host of events, and then on Monday starting in the morning.
9:30, community service, then 1:30 is the program. You don't have to do both.
Right,
But
okay.
if you want
you
to,
can.
absolutely.
You certainly can.
Come spend the day with us.
Now, where can they find out more information? We have a website?
We have a Facebook page.
Good, what is it?
Which is MLK.Saratoga.
Gotcha. I highly encourage everyone, to whatever degree you feel like participating, bring your family, bring your children, make them aware of things, really participate. Again, thank you, Holly, very much for coming in, and I'll see you over that weekend.
Thank you.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.